Question 17 involves a family tree. This one's given here, and we're told that in this family tree, individuals P and Q are carriers of a recessive allele. Now, carriers is a byword, by and large in the BMAT, for a heterozygote, i.e. someone who carries the recessive allele but does not express it. So we can mark on their genotypes as heterozygotes, with capital R representing the dominant allele that they carry, and R representing the recessive. We're told that this recessive allele causes a condition, and that this condition affects individuals R and individuals X, which are these two here. So we can mark them in red, and we can mark on their genotypes, lowercase r, representing the fact that only the homozygote form, bearing both recessive alleles, would express the recessive phenotype. Okay, so bearing all this information in mind, what we're being asked is what's the likelihood of individuals S, T and U, these three offspring of P and Q, being a carrier. And again, a carrier is going to be a heterozygote. Okay, so in order to work this out, you may be tempted to think that their likelihood would all be the same, given that they're all the offspring of the same two heterozygous individuals. However, we're given more information than just their parent. We're given the information of their spouses tacitly, and we're given information of their children. Okay, so using this information, we have to calibrate what the likelihood is. It's not good enough if we're working out the genotypes of existing individuals to refer to the parental genotypes, do the Punnett square, and work out the expected genotype ratios. At an individual level, especially with such a small sample size of 3 individuals, the Punnett square ratios won't bear out. You have to assume that there's an equal likelihood of them bearing any of the possible genotypes. In the case of R, we should know that in a Punnett square cross between 2 heterozygous individuals, there is the potential for a homozygous dominant, a homozygous recessive, and a heterozygote. Since we know that T is not homozygous recessive, as he's not affected by the condition like R and X, he must either be homozygous dominant or heterozygous. So we can mark that on, and we can say there's a 50-50 chance of it being either way. We shouldn't say, for instance, that there's a 66% chance or a 2/3 chance of T being heterozygous relative to homozygous dominant because of the Punnett square ratios. The Punnett square ratios won't bear out in a small sample size. So we'll take this as being roughly 50% chance of T being heterozygous. Now, can we say the same for S and U? Well, let's have a think about it. We have S here, who has a wife, or rather has a husband, who is homozygous recessive, and offspring which is, at the very least, going to be a heterozygote, or rather has to be a heterozygote, because they receive one recessive allele from the father, and therefore must receive the dominant allele from the mother. Now, the mother could therefore either be homozygous dominant and transfer the dominant allele that way, or heterozygous and transfer the dominant allele the other way. So, again, there is a potential for this being both cases. So again, S could be heterozygous or homozygous dominant, and so we can say there's a 50% chance of S being heterozygous. Now, the complicated case is U. U, we know, is partnered to V and has a homozygous recessive child. Now, this homozygous recessive child must have received one allele from the father and one from the mother. So that means that U must have at least one recessive allele. But since we know that U does not have the condition, only R and X has the condition, U must therefore have one recessive allele and one dominant allele to drown that out. So U must be heterozygous, and so we can say, with the information given, there's a 100% chance that U is heterozygous. There's no other confirmation for him to be in. So we can say that our answer is that S has a 50% chance, T has a 50% chance, and U has a 100% chance, and we can say that this corresponds to row E in our answer table.